Okay, today we were playing a game on Hanamura. The average SR of this game was 2013, and we will be playing Genji on defense and Zenyatta on attack. No, I didn't get those back to front. Our current team composition is Winston, McCree, Genji, Soldier. I've written McCree down twice, that's not correct. Winston, Torbjorn, Genji, Soldier, McCree, and Anna. There we go, that's the one. So our team comp is pretty terrible, but slow SR, it's kind of what you expect. We don't have a Mercy, which is the saddest part to me. Though at the same time, our team is incredibly low presence, so at the same time, picking Mercy might not be the best idea, because it might just kind of get rolled over. But you could say the same thing about Anna and every other support, basically. So, what can you do? It's not the end of the world. Team comp honestly doesn't matter that much until very, very high SR, and like it really doesn't matter in low SR, where most people don't know how to play their heroes correctly anyway. The saddest part is just that we don't have a Mercy, as far as I'm concerned. So let's start the game. As soon as YouTube agrees to do so. So, we are defending as Genji. Hook 2.0 saved our life right there. Which is never really seems to happen anymore. I think Roadhog players have gotten better at not having it break around corners. So I don't really like that play as Genji where you walk up to the enemy team and just sort of deflect right in front of them. Because if the enemy team is like good and has certain things on their team, you get like really countered for doing it. Like McCree just throws his flashbang next to you. Roadhog waits until your deflect is about to end and then hooks you, that kind of thing. Which is not likely to happen in this SR, but does begin happening. Not a great use of deflect here because the person is inside their bubble. If YouTube would be so kind, the D.Va is inside the bubble at that point, so there's no way she shoots us from inside the bubble, so deflect ends up not doing much, and it's kind of important cooldown. Though we are going over here to heal up anyway at the time. And now they're kind of just coming on the point and we're dashing through them. We're having a great time playing Genji, is the gist of it. Dashing, I will say, like, right at the start, dashing through Roadhog is kind of risky, because you don't want to dash through someone and then that person doesn't die. Like, whenever you use your dash, you're looking to get it reset, unless you're just using it to run away straight up, in which case, obviously, it's not going to reset. But if you're trying to use it in an aggressive fashion, you always want to get the reset. And Roadhog is one of those people that can live for a surprisingly long time. So it's a little risky to dash through a Roadhog, unless you know for certain that he's gonna die. So, they've not really been engaging this correctly. In the email, things that were advice specifically being looked for was using Dragon Blade and maximizing impact on the game. This is not a very good use of Dragon Blade because we've already won this fight by this point. Most of the enemy team is dead, and one of the only people currently still around is Baby D.Va. So, it doesn't end up being a great use of it. We only killed 2 people with it. There were only 3 people here, and one person was not interested in continuing that fight. So that's not a great use of Dragon Blade. You don't really want to use ultimates in fights that you have definitely won already, or fights that you have definitely lost. Because the idea is you want to use it in a fight that's closer, and then you use the ultimate to swing it in your favor. Whereas if you've already won or you've already lost, well, it just ends up being wasted one way or the other, basically. So D.Va ended up coming through. She's probably like, geez, Lucio, why couldn't you have done that 3 seconds earlier, you know? I'm still not a big fan of the go up and deflect right in front of their face play. We also, why did we use dash? What did we dash for? Because we have that down right now. YouTube, come on. What do we dash through? Dashing through D.Va is not a great idea either, usually, because bare minimum, you have to also kill Baby D.Va after she comes out of the mech, which can be awkward. So then when we do this deflect play, it's even worse because we don't actually have dash to run away with right afterwards, and we're low HP when it starts happening, so we're kind of lucky to just not die right there, actually. Like, we should have been punished for that maneuver, because we were trying something that I'm already not a fan of, but then we're doing it while dash is down as well, and we're not full HP on our only healers, Anna, in low SR, who is likely to miss us a lot, because we're playing Genji. So, really wouldn't recommend that one. So now we're low HP, and basically we just want to find a health kit as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, Hanamura isn't great for health kits unless you're on that side of the map that we're looking at right now. That ends up going a lot better than expected, frankly, where we just kind of push right past this Roadhog. Fortunately, he's reloading as that's happening, so we get to just kind of like pop out next to the Ana. We should definitely not be doing what we're doing right here. That's super awkward, because, yeah. So, we definitely shouldn't dash through the Roadhog. We shouldn't even be trying to fight the Roadhog right now, because we're only at 95 HP. Ana ends up healing us. That's the thing with doing that kind of play, though. Because that's like... Whenever I'm playing Roadhog or get McCree, and a Genji does that, I'm like, you're gonna die now. And then I do exactly that thing right there. It's one of those plays that's like... It revolves around the enemy being really bad, right? Because I assume the idea was to deflect his shot back into him. Unless the idea was just to deflect the hook, in which case, don't be that close to him when you do that, because then he's just going to shoot you. If the plan was to deflect the shot back into him, I don't like that play, because that's a play that revolves around the enemy player being bad, and not playing around you correctly. And we should always assume the enemy team is going to play well, until shown otherwise, so we shouldn't do that. It's like the play where, Genji pops out in front of the McCree who is using Deadeye, and he's like, come on, kill yourself on me. And then the McCree just waits for Genji to be finished deflecting, and then kills the Genji. It's the same thing, just on a smaller scale. If the idea was to deflect the hook, don't be right next to him. If the plan was to deflect the shot back into him immediately, don't go for that kind of play, because any play that's like, kill yourself on me, is not a very consistent play, because it revolves around the enemy being bad and killing themselves on you, which they shouldn't do. Like, this game's pretty old at this point, like, they should know better at this point than to just shoot at the Genji who's deflecting. So, we've got Dragon Blade right now. Here's self-destruct, we managed to get out of the way. Roadhog's also using Whole Hog. Don't, do this. We don't want to wait here for Roadhog to be finished using Whole Hog. We want to, get out, heal, because we're nearly half dead at this point, and then, actually go and find better people to use Dragon Blade on. By the time we actually get over here, the fight's so far gone that it's not really... He's upset about that one. After the changes, he lost his ultimate for that one. By the time we actually get over here, the fight's too far gone to be worth using Dragon Blade on, so we hold it, which is the correct play. McCree shouldn't be doing this, he should be coming back. Ana died at a really awkward time, as did McCree. Ana not so much, actually, she died a little while ago. McCree died at a really bad time, and two people are still really far out, so, it's not great. So we have Dragon Blade. Here's just, general, generic advice for Dragon Blade that will help you in probably, 85% of situations, right? Because this is how it's gonna end up being, where, this is how I'm gonna answer both questions in the email eventually. I'll probably just wait to do the other one at the end of the game, though, probably. So for, Dragon Blade, the biggest issue that most Genji players have with using Dragon Blade is they don't think about what they're gonna do with it. And then the second thing is that they are not calm while they're doing it. Whenever you see the play of the game and the Genji's shaking like a leaf, you know that it went out a lot better than it should have done, probably. So what I mean by the first point is, you have to plan out what you're gonna do with Dragon Blade, because the entire idea of Dragon Blade is that you want to kill as many people with it as possible, and it's a very consistent ultimate for doing this. But it all revolves around dashing between people and killing people quickly and cleanly. So you want to you need to know roughly what you're gonna do with it. So you want to pick your moment, ideally, but just general thing. Dash above the enemy team and pull out the sword, because that refreshes the cooldown on dash anyway. And then the reason to do this is, one, if you've got Nana on your team, she can't possibly miss you with her nano boost if you dash above the enemy team, because you're in the air above both teams and like really easy to see. So it helps if there's an Ana on your team. The other reason is, you can look down at the enemy team as you're falling and think about what you're gonna do while you're falling, right? Because the idea is, you look at the team and you think, alright, there's Mercy. I'm gonna go for her first. So I'm gonna dash up to her, and I'm gonna cut her. She's gonna die. Then I'm gonna dash over to this person. Then I'm gonna dash over to that person. And by that point, Dragon Blade is probably over, but I've killed 3 people, which means we should win the fight. The problem with most Genji players, they just see like one person, or maybe not even a person, they just know a fight's happening, and they just like pull out their sword and come around the corner like, alright, I'm gonna, fuck, and then they have to look around and figure out what they're gonna do while their ultimate is still running. The idea is you want to like know roughly what you're gonna do as you go in, so that you can go bing, 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 bing. And then the other thing is like staying calm doing it, because it's like an execution thing that gets easier the more you play Genji, but the entire idea, it's all about resetting your dash in the middle of the ultimate. So, what a lot of Genji players do is they like cut and then dash, but the person's already dead, so they didn't actually get the reset, and then that ends up fucking up the entire thing. Or they dash up to somebody that they couldn't kill for one reason or another, because they dash up to like the Mercy, but then the Mercy like floats away because there's like a soldier all the fuck way over there, right? And then you don't actually have the dash to follow them. And then you're just like running around with the sword. You don't want to ever be running around in the middle of them with the sword. You want to be able to dash up to people, because then there's less they can do to stop it. So it's like an execution thing that gets easier, but it's just like stay caught, like think about what you're gonna do. Think about the order of people you're gonna go to, and then just like be calm and like focus on just like getting the reset off of the kill, because that's basically what it all revolves around. It's more about resetting the dash than anything else, really. And then this is easier if you've been nano boosted as well, because cut dash just straight up kills somebody if you're nano boosted. Through Transcendence as well. Pro tip, if they're using Transcendence and you're nano boosted with Dragon Blade, cut dash immediately, kill someone through Transcendence. So that's like the Dragon Blade thing. Those are like the reasons most Genji players are like bad at using their ultimates, is because they don't plan out what they're gonna do and they're not calm about it while they're doing it. And then being calm in the middle of it is also like partly ties into the other part as well, where like if you know what you're gonna do, it's easier to stay calm in the middle of the fight. So again, we dash through D.Va while she's still in her mech, which is not a great idea because it's probably going to take a while to kill D.Va, especially if she's in her mech, which is exactly what happens, where we don't get the reset on our dash. If we're using our dash aggressively, we want to, like, know we're going to get the reset off of it. And I'm not saying the dash has to kill the person, but you need to know with a pretty high degree of certainty, the person is going to die shortly after you dash through them. Because that's like the reason a lot of Genji players get killed. They dash aggressively, they don't get it reset, and then they're like, oh fuck. Well, now what do I do? And they're probably too deep and they can't get out at that point. So. Now they have to try and take the second checkpoint. They do eventually. We play 4 rounds on this map in total. Doesn't take as long as you'd expect a 2CP map that goes 4 rounds, honestly. So. We've got Dragon Blade still, which is cool. Soldier used Tac Visor during the last fight, which is also, like, a really strong ultimate, so we didn't also have to use Dragon Blade. Now we have Dragon Blade for the next fight, when the enemy team eventually groups up and tries to push him. This is the thing about low SR. Defending is mad easy, because, again, that's a play that revolves around him being bad and killing himself on you. Don't recommend it. This is the thing with low SR, defending is really easy, because if you notice how over the last, like, minute and a half, we just haven't really had to do anything, whereas if you're in high SR, you've had to fend off 2 pushes in this period of time. So, we pull out Dragon Blade, and this fight gets really messy and really chaotic really quickly, but it all works out. We get nano boosted, and their Ana nano boosted, performed the Boostio maneuver instead of nano boosting their Genji. If she had nano boosted their Genji, it would have been a lot scarier, but Fortunately, we were nano boosted, he wasn't. It was really easy for us. We also had Transcendence, which makes it easy as well. So, it all worked out. Hooray. Excellent. They shouldn't have really made that play, because you also notice how they weren't all there when that play happened. Yeah, Though they would have likely lost the fight anyway, because we used Transcendence, Dragon Blade, and Nano Boost. So, don't dash into a Winston because that happens. Unless you know the Winston's gonna die. Then it's okay. Do not pick a fight with a Winston unless you know he's gonna die. Like, you know he is low HP when you go in, because otherwise, he's gonna probably kill you before you kill him. It's not impossible to kill a Winston faster than he'll kill you, but it is really hard. So, now we're losing a lot of tempo and we're pretty fucked. They are gonna capture this checkpoint. Don't pick a fight with a Winston unless you know he is, like, nearly dead. So, just, like, avoid him. The Genji is like countered by Winston, but as long as you like play around the enemy Winston, the Winston shouldn't ever really kill you as long as you're like paying attention to where he is and you're playing around the fact there's a Winston there. It's the same thing with like Winston playing against a Reaper or a Roadhog, right? Like as long as you're aware, what were we typing out? That was like an essay length message. Right now, so no, go back. So this is like at me, I think. I'm filling for the team right now, so I think the Genji play is only for the first round. It ends up being for the next round as well. We play Genji on both rounds of defense. It's weird, right? It's like, oh, we're playing Genji on defense and Zenyatta on attack. Yeah, no, it's like that's what's happening. So, now we're playing Zenyatta. Very sudden change in heroes. Now we want to be very far away from the enemy team. Not to spoil the surprise or anything, but the thing about Zenyatta is we do a lot of like this, where we walk into the enemy team. Like, we shouldn't be doing that. We use Zenyatta's right-click a lot, and I'll die on this hill, goddammit. Someone's always wants to pick a fight with me about it. I will if you want to fight about it, you can meet me in the pit. Zenyatta's right-click is a really bad ability, and I hate when people, like, spam it all the fucking time. Most of the time we're actually using it when we're peeking corners, which is okay, but we do a lot of, like, walking into the enemy team, and, like, I'm just, like, watch the replays, like, we use the right-click a lot, and I, like, really hate Zenyatta's right-click. It gets cheesy kills every now and then, and that feels good, and that's why people always, like, are on it. So, the thing that, like, we do a lot as during Zenyatta, though, like, the legitimate complaint I have about Zenyatta play is that, we do a lot of walking into people that we're shooting at, which is a bad habit in general, especially for someone like Zenyatta, because Zenyatta's weapon doesn't have fall-off damage. Like, we're walking into this McCree right now. Like, as long as you're close enough to put orbs on people, you're inside your effective range. We don't want to be walking into people. Because Zenyatta's really easy to kill. He's literally a floating box. Like, that's his hitbox, right? We don't want to be walking into the enemies. Because we're just getting closer to their area of influence, and we want to avoid that as Zenyatta. So here, we come and stand on the point. There's no need for us to come and stand on the point. We could be doing everything we're going to do over here, back by the doorway, but be way safer while we're doing it. We don't want to stand on the point unless we absolutely have to. Zenyatta's looking to stand as far back as possible, because he's really easy to kill, and the further away you are, the harder you are to get to, and the harder you are to kill. Now, you can take that too far, where you're, like, way the fuck off, and your team can't get to you to help you, if you need it, but we want to be, like, far back, preferably on high ground as well. Zenyatta is one of those people that benefits from being on high ground a lot. Which is not really, YouTube, come on. Which is not really feasible for us right now, but we could just be standing further back. Come on now. You can do it. Fucking, it's gonna be even worse when fucking they take net neutrality from us, which they're trying to do again. One day, like, it's gonna end up happening. It's gonna be tragic. So, we could be standing a lot further back. We end up using Transcendence right here. It's a little early, really. Like, there's not that much happening right now. We use it basically just to heal up Soldier. It does make him survive, and like it makes where we're standing less awkward, but we should be standing a lot further back during this fight. Also, if you're using Transcendence, you don't want to come out of Transcendence right next to the enemy team. So as Transcendence is running out, you want to try and be backing up so that you don't, like, get killed as soon as you come out of Transcendence. So now you can see why, even though this game is 4 rounds on a 2 CP map, it's not actually that long. Yeah, we attacked a lot better than they did. So now we're going to play Genji on defense again, which is fine. People get really tweaked out about, like, Tracer and Genji on defense. Tracer and Genji on defense are fine. The issue is just kind of they're like low presence heroes overall, so if you're not killing people as Tracer and Genji, it kind of feels like you're not doing anything, which is true, because that's kind of like what they're meant to do. But like, that's why people get like upset about people on these people on defense. So we like go really close to the enemy team at low HP, because we got hit. And then we come over here at 80 HP, and we should die for this, but we end up not dying for it. Like, as soon as you get started, like, don't go up there in that condition anyway, like, get a health kit first, like, there's a big one inside the pagoda on top of there, like, just, like, get a health kit first, but, like, okay, you're up there, like, dash away, because, like, you're getting tased while you're nearly dead anyway, like. Now we're going back in while we're still not full HP. If you're playing a flanker and you're not full HP, like, we're squishier than a Tracer right now, but less mobile, right? Like, we don't want to be going in right now because we should just be healing. We barely survived that exchange. And, like, we should have died. So, we actually clicked that on Torbjorn, so it's like, I need armor, which I always forget is, like, something that happens in this game. So, oh, feels good, man, and now we're really feeling it. We bounced that skill back at Hanzo, and then we immediately dash right up to this McCree, who is one of the scariest people to dash up to for obvious reasons, where you'll get flashbanged. Don't recommend this play. It turns out that, like, we shouldn't. Like, we should not have done this. We have no right to still be alive. We bounced the skill back at him, and that's cool, but then we were, like, really feeling it, Mr. Krabs, and we dashed right out onto the McCree. Not recommended. Don't do that. Now, again, we're going back up to the enemy team while we're not full HP, which we shouldn't be doing. Also worth pointing out, Genji also doesn't have fall-off damage, so we don't really need to be, like, right next to them. We can be, like, just poking at them from far away while we're, like, waiting to get healed or to find a health kit. So we've almost got Dragon Blade built up. Here's Hanzo. We do have an obligation to try and kill the Hanzo. It's unfortunate that we dashed, like, right as he did that, because we, that was, like, an opportunity to actually try and bounce the dragon back at him. But, you know, we kill him, it's fine, whatever. So their team is mostly dead. We, die a very sad death, where we, actually killed Junkrat, and Winston as well. But we didn't seem to notice that we did so and ended up kind of like tripping over his body, which killed us. But their team was dead by that point anyway, so it didn't matter. It is very embarrassing, though. So I will answer the other question from your email. I'm just going to do it at the end of the game at this point, because there wasn't like an obvious point at me to be like, here's where we'll go on this 20-minute tangent. So if you do be so kind as to actually like cooperate with me. No, oh god damn it. Alright, so, now we're going to attack. Yeah, it doesn't go super well for them, as you might have noticed from the time limit. If we didn't take 30% off the, well, 33% from, with 6 minutes on the clock, like, Jesus, we didn't deserve it. We didn't deserve it at that point. So, there are a lot of scary things on their team for Zenyatta. They got 2 snipers, which is very scary for us. And again, we're walking up to the Hanzo. Ooh, he missed his skill, which is very scary. Like, going in on people. Like, no, we should just be standing further back. We could be shooting at that dude, but from further back where we can't get shot through the doorway. Like, we could be standing closer to the noodle shop, and then, no problem. Like, those people can't hit us as easily, but we could still be shooting at the Bastion. Zenyatta can be doing what he's meant to be doing from very far away, so we want to be standing as far back as possible. We don't want to be moving into people as Zenyatta. So let's watch the play of the game. Who would have gotten it? Might have been us, actually. It was indeed us. Presumably it was the one on the second point. Hopefully it wasn't the one where we died. Yeah, there we go. We barely even see the Genji actually die in the play. Feels good, man. Okay, so now the other thing that was in the email was how do I maximize my impact in the game? And basically, it's just about making sure you're always doing something, which sounds like really, oh well, obviously. But like, when you're in the game, while you're walking around, you just think to yourself every now and then, what am I doing right now? Like, what am I contributing to my team right now? Because the biggest thing between, like, one of the biggest things between high SR and low SR is just, like, people in low SR, they seem very aimless and they don't know what they're trying to accomplish all the time, which ends to just a lot of, like, ambling around, not really accomplishing anything. But high SR, you're always trying to do something, and you're trying to do it quickly. So you just want to be, as you're walking around, you just think, what am I bringing to the team right now? And if the answer is, well, not very much, then you should be either looking for something to do, or you should change to a hero that can have more impact at that point. Just like, it's more about mindset than anything else. It's like, what am I contributing right now? Am I contributing something? If yes, good. If no, well, what can I do? Can I do anything on this hero to contribute more, or should I change to another hero so that I can start contributing more? Because, like, if we're playing, like, Genji, and the enemy team is something like Symmetra, Torbjorn, Winston, right? Like, it's like, and then, like, Mei. It's like we walk around and we think to ourselves, am I contributing something right now? Well, yeah, I'm kind of like poking at them, but their team is really harsh for me to play against, so I'm not contributing that much. I should change to Pharah because then my contribution to the game will skyrocket, quite literally and figuratively. It really is more about mindset than anything else when it comes to like maximizing impact, because it's just like, what am I doing right now? And you have to be honest with yourself as well. That's the thing, because it's easy to be playing someone and then look at like your medals and you're like, oh, I've got gold limbs and I've got gold damage, so I'm doing the best. That means I've got the biggest contribution right now. Yeah, but that contribution can still be small, right? Like, if you're got gold limbs at like 4 and gold damage is like 1,000, well, it's like, well, alright, yeah, I'm contributing the most, but I could probably be contributing more than this. It's about being honest with yourself. It's like, well, I'm not actually contributing right now, so I need to start contributing however I should do that. And then, like, there's the other part that's like, this is also gonna be, I'm gonna say it, and then you're gonna be like, oh, well, yeah, obviously, thanks. But it's like, you want to be focusing on what your hero is good at doing. That's, like, the easiest way to maximize your, impact on the game. Because the problem people have is they try to overreach, and they try to, like, alright, I'm playing, like, solo, I've gotta try and carry my team, I gotta overcompensate for them. Worry about doing your own job first, because you gotta do that. If you're playing Winston because you're trying to counter their Widowmaker, like, this is just a very straightforward example. If you're playing, like, Winston to counter their Widowmaker, but you're spending most of your time, like, running after a Reaper because, like, your team's not killing Reaper, that's not what you're good at. You should be, like, doing the thing you're good at first. Like, do your job first, and then try to cover for other people after that point, because someone's got to do your job, and it should be you. So it's like, just think to yourself, am I contributing? And just make sure that you're doing what your hero is supposed to be doing in that game. If they got snipers and you're playing Genji, you're supposed to be trying to kill the snipers, right? If they've got supports, you're supposed to be trying to kill the supports, right? Like, just like, focus on doing whatever your hero is good at, try to do that. And just ask yourself, am I contributing? What am I contributing? Could I be contributing more? And then if the answer is no, well, what do I need to start contributing more? So, hopefully that answers your questions from the email. If you felt I answered either question inadequately, please let me know and I'll try to expand further. For this game though, the biggest things that stand out is Genji, like, the deflect thing. Like, don't do the I hope they kill themselves on me play, because, like, any play that revolves around the enemy team being bad is a bad play, because we should assume they're going to play well until shown otherwise. Be more cautious if you're low HP, because we play quite aggressively while we're fairly low HP, which just ends up leading to really swift death in a lot of cases. And if you're gonna dash, try to be, like, sure you're gonna get the dash back quickly. And you're not always, sometimes you're gonna fuck it up, like Genji has, like, a mechanical component. Sometimes you're gonna be like, I'm gonna get it back, and you're not gonna get it back for one, like, you didn't account for something, you, like, failed to hit them afterwards. It's gonna happen. But, like, you wanna be pretty certain that you're gonna get the reset on the dash if you're using the dash aggressively. If you're just using it to run away, alright, you're not gonna get the dash back. But if you're using it aggressively, you want to be pretty certain you're going to get the dash back. Dragon Blade, hopefully I already answered that. Let me know if I didn't answer it if you felt I didn't answer it adequately. And then for Zenyatta, just be, like, way more cautious. Like, stand way further back. Zenyatta's got no fall-off damage. He doesn't want to be near people because that makes it easier to kill Zenyatta. We want to be as far away as possible. Try not to walk into people and just try to stay, like, really far back. Preferably on high ground, though the map doesn't always allow for that. Like, if you're on Ilios, there's kind of no high ground to stand on as Zenyatta, so you just want to be standing as far back as possible. But preferably on high ground if the map permits as well. So, thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer, and I hope you found the video helpful.